Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, his name is Bricky, and Warhammer 40k. I was about to go woof, 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 but I was like, are we still doing Space Wolves? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But before we do, if you enjoy today's episode of the podcast and you want to maybe support us, head over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. The $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in crispy HD digital format. We have the Watchers poster right now is the new one. It's great. Bricky loves it. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, where could I buy that Watchers poster if I wanted a physical copy of it?
Wow, you could go buy that at orchid8.com. Link in the description, along with all other manner of wonderful merchandise, including a new one. Because this episode is going to go live on Valentine's Day, and none of us have anyone to talk to. So instead, we're going to have you buy merch for the people that you talk to. And that is a brand. DK and Shy haven't seen it yet, and I don't have a picture for them right now, but they'll see it later.
Oh.
It's a Conqueror shirt. It is super. It is a very simple, nice white tee with the red handprint across the chest, but it also comes in a crop top. It's like cropped, but it's like long sleeve with a hood. But it's like light on that thing, like a crop hoodie. I don't know how it's said. It's on the site. It's some fun new stuff.
That's so cool.
It's I think of all things, if we're gonna do a Valentine's Day, we should have it reference the greatest heartthrob in the 41st millennium, Mortarion.
Yes, stealing hearts, right? Gotta steal those hearts, literally out of your chest.
Definitely Mortarion. Definitely not a particular lady on a particular ship on a particular world-eating legion.
No, certainly not. Nothing like that. She did. Certainly no abs are involved.
No, well, technically in this one there's not, but that's okay. It's a nice, simple shirt. Pick it up, orchid8.com. Also, Shy tells me that we're going to have a Detective Ridiculous poster this month, too, that apparently I'm also going to get PTSD from, so that's nice, I guess.
I know about it, and I know what it is, but I haven't seen it. I haven't even seen any work in progress of it, so I'm going to be just as surprised as you are.
Would you say that this is one of those things that I would get PTSD from?
Nah.
Oh.
Honestly, you're probably going to like it.
Oh, okay.
It's not like the Watchers one where it's sarcastic. Oh, Bricky, you're... and you're probably going to like it.
Did you just like have a bowl of ice cream in 30 milliseconds? Like, oh, Bricky.
Yes, I was savoring the suffering that you were going to have. Yeah.
Well, speaking of death and suffering, Warhammer 40k.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So, unfortunately, my friend, you're just not gonna get this because there really aren't that many quotes here, and honestly, even if I gave you a quote, you would still not get it, because I have no faith in you whatsoever, and I hate you.
I mean, that's fair. All fair points, sure. So what are we doing?
That being said, even if I had faith in you, you wouldn't get it anyway.
We
are continuing the modern day, the ongoing story of Warhammer 40k, and we are going into the next major events occurring in 10th edition Warhammer. We're continuing the story.
Oh, okay, all right. So it's just the continuation. All right, where did we leave off?
So what we're doing today is based on the newest Crusade book that came out of Warhammer called the Pariah Nexus. It has a pretty baller cover art.
Ooh, that is great cover art.
It is quite something. It is just monumental in scale, but as you can tell, it is very much centered around the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Necrons.
There's a lot of green.
And, well, we last left off on the Leviathan and the Tyranid invasions that were coming about. But we're taking a bit of a break from that. While Lord Solar Leontis and his group are out and about dealing with the Tyranid menace, this time we are centering around the war between the two major figures of the associated factions, Belisarius Cawl and Mr. Big Daddy King himself.
Big Daddy King himself, huh? Is that
what else would you call the Silent King, sir?
Not Big Daddy King. I would probably just call him the Silent King.
That's only because you lack ingenuity.
Well, also probably because I have, some shred of pride and dignity left, whereas you have truly just removed all hope.
Listen, if there's one thing that has a lot of pride, it is most certainly the Necrons.
It's true.
So, here our story begins in a different region of space. This is the, well, it says the War of Sorrows and Silence, but
boy.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of
fun stuff.
It's remember when we talked about, like, oh yeah, but they committed genocide, and we're like, oh well,
you know how little that narrows it down.
So this is taking place in a particular zone of space known as the Pariah Nexus to some, the Stilled region to others. And much like the usual Imperial bureaucracy, it was just an area of space that just kind of stopped responding.
Never like to see that, because what made them stop responding? Maybe they just have a faulty radio.
Yeah, well, and also it's buried beneath monumental amounts of, like data and scrolls and logistics.
Yeah.
So by the time they actually get to it, it's already quite a problem.
Yeah.
But basically, this area was this kind of circle, slowly expanding circle, known as the Pariah Nexus at the Era Indomitus kind of time frame. And it's hard to truly describe, but it's an utterly silent area of space.
Wow,
so,
totally silent and just nothing comes out of it?
Zero. Like it is a completely black spot on the map. You can't send psychic signals in. No signals are coming out. You can't go through it. You can't like enter it. At least not like in a more natural way. It's just blank.
Oof. That's a problem.
It's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
Especially considering how important psychic signaling and stuff is for the Warhammer.
Yeah.
No communication. Once you're in there, you lose all communication, that whole thing.
Yeah, so that's a big if you're in there, that's a big problem. And if you're not in there, it's like, well, what's going on? Why can't we hear anything? Why can't we, ping anything in there? Oh, yeah, that's issues. Issues are had.
So to save us a bit of time, because they kind of go along with this like, ooh, what's happening thing for a bit in the book. I think we've talked about this before. This is a area of space that are built with these large blackstone pylons by the Necrons to remove the warp.
Right. That's right. Because we talked about like what blackstone was and why it's so important, and yeah. Okay.
So basically what the Silent King is doing is he's building up an area of null space. He's charging these blackstone pylons with a negative kind of energy, and that is literally removing the warp from this area.
Yeah.
Okay. So without a warp, you obviously can't travel through it. You cannot...
You can't use warp travel. You can't communicate. You can't do a whole lot of anything.
No, it's complete dead. Or at least it's mostly dead. Eventually, after enough time has passed and this growing area of nothingness is getting larger and larger, Guilliman is like, hey, what?
Yeah, what's that blank spot, and why is it getting bigger? That seems like a problem.
This is a little weird. I'd like to maybe deal with this.
Yeah, that's a good call by Gilliman. Probably want to deal with the blank spot that's getting bigger on the map. Sure, yeah.
So he not himself, but he tasks a fleet to go out there. And this region, once they finally reach it, or like the border of it, some of them enter into the region. And let's just say it's not an easy time going into the region. A lot of the astropaths end up just exploding. Or
because there's no warp, so they just...
Yeah, they just kind of do... Or they kill themselves, which is pretty common. The commissars have their work cut out for them as disobedience starts to like skyrocket across all the ship decks. Basically, what this whole area, once they arrive into it, with this shuddering, barely able to make it in kind of... I don't know, it's like really turbulent waves, except there's no waves. I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe.
I guess you can still fly a void ship through a blackstoned area, right? If there's no warp? Like, can you? Like, does a void ship travel on warp nonsense?
I mean, no, you can like fly it, but the issue is that it's just... Like with everything in Warhammer, there are very few absolutes. It's just, instead, it makes it very hard.
Okay.
But once they arrive into this stilled region, or the silent region, every place they go, every planet that stopped communicating is just still. Like spaceports, refineries, mining, fortifications, all that stuff, they just stood empty. Like as if the entire area was just plucked from like from God, like the rapture. Food was on the tables, molding, all that kind of stuff. But in reality, they didn't actually go away. They just stopped.
Oh. So people just where they were just kind of died and then just bleh.
Pretty much. Servitors are still there, but their minds are just blank, so they just kind of stand there. Oh. And then there's litters of bones and ash across the ground. Because people would just have their food plate and they would just stop moving.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of like, did you ever see Serenity? The Firefly movie? Where they talk about how the Reavers were born because they were like they were testing a way to make people more calm so that war would end and nobody would ever be angry and whatever, and it ended up being like, oh yeah, it worked, but it worked too well and everybody just stopped caring about living and they just sat there tranquilly and died in place. But unfortunately 1% of the population had like the absolute opposite effect, and they went stark raving mad and became just like these savage cannibals that, like, if they found you and got you, they would just rip you to shreds, eat you, and have their way with you.
Oh, is that how the Reavers became the way they are?
Yeah, it was like humanity's darkest, most awful secret that they wanted to hide.
I did not know that
they made the Reavers.
I did not know that. I've watched like 3 episodes of Firefly, and I know about the Reavers being bad, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, that is basically what it is. Certain areas suffered far more because a generator was now unmanned and maybe would go critical, or a car would just, you'd stop using it and then it would just crash into something else, and that usual stuff. But for the most part, it's just the stilling was what it was called. And they go into some pretty nasty detail. Like some people would, some of the guardsmen would be walking on like a planet's surface in the woods, and they'd realize that underneath their feet, they aren't crunching on on trees and stuff. They're crunching on the myriad tiny animals and insects that just lay there now.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy.
You have basically and completely cut your soul off, and everyone's soul off from the warp. Like, in Warhammer we have a soul.
Oh yeah, and it goes to the warp, and yeah,
and it's just gone. So you have either one of two things happen. You either just completely lose the will to do anything, or you hyper accentuate an already strange personality quirk, which seems like it was taken exactly from Firefly.
Maybe. Well, yeah. It could be. They could have taken inspiration from Serenity. Sure. They could. They take inspiration from a bunch of other stuff. So why not that too?
So this is the Silent King's plan. He is to cut off one of the biggest threats to the galaxy, which is the warp and chaos, and in a sense, still the entire region of the Milky Way galaxy, to then have an unrequited amount of leftover biological mass and matter to utilize to rebuild themselves.
Well, that would do it. If you got enough blackstone, that would probably do it. I was gonna say, hey, on the bright side, no chaos, huh? No chaos.
I mean, that's a huge bright side. Chaos is a huge threat to the Necrons because it's psychers and stuff, and it's very anathema to them.
Oh yeah, if you're the Necrons, it's all positives. But if you're the humans, it's like, well, at least there's no chaos, I guess.
It genuinely is, hey, make a region of space with blackstone so large that we will salvage the worthless husks of the organics and turn us back into flesh and blood again.
Kind of sounds like Reapers a little bit.
You know, I want to say yes, but at the same time, the Mass Effect Reaper thing has gone over so many rewrites that I don't even know which is which anymore.
Fair enough. So essentially, he just wants to, from corner to corner, have, these blackstone... are they, pillars or whatever? And just completely encompass the Milky Way galaxy in this sort of null space.
Blackstone pylons, yeah, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
And then, you negatively charge them is the whole point.
Right, right.
So, with this, obviously, this becomes a potently difficult situation for a lot of the Imperial forces that arrive. Not only is it, an area that has no reinforcements for you, no way to communicate particularly well, unless you blow up half of your Psyker's brains in trying to do so, but also your guardsmen, for the most part, just really struggle to even do clean
anything.
Their gun.
Yeah.
The only the Space Marines are doing mostly okay. Some get a little wacky, like the Black Templars kind of are resorted a bit to just their base zealot instincts. So they kind of they stop listening to orders very much, and they just start murdering.
Oh, great! Good. Love that. As if the Black Templars weren't bad enough. Oh, okay, enemies.
Right. But it makes them bad at formation and stuff.
Oh yeah. It'd probably be hard to command people like that. Yeah.
Ironically, and I don't quite know how we're supposed to understand this, but the only faction that has any resilience to this in a massive way are the Sisters of Battle. Huh. The power of their faith keeps them not immune to the effects, but quite resilient. The sheer strength of their faith stops this from affecting them as much as it affects everyone else.
Huh. So just because they believe harder than everyone else, they aren't as affected?
For some reason, Shield of Faith is a genuine major thing here, and they're pure, just probably the same reason why the Black Templars are doing so well as well, despite the fact that they're just kind of running ahead and killing everything.
Yeah.
It's a really weird situation because sisters get their power of faith from the manifesting it in the warp. Yeah,
I was gonna say it doesn't work like that, does it?
No, it doesn't. And as Shai said here, Luton did also made a video about how this is a huge plot hole, but the fact that they're doing it again makes me wonder if they've got some kind of reasoning up their sleeve that they haven't quite shared yet.
Or maybe it's just a MacGuffin.
or it's a MacGuffin, but they really specifically call attention to the importance of faith, and it's actually a major utilized part of this book. When Cawl is dispatched out here by Guilliman to deal with this problem, he specifically notices the importance of faith to bring it down, and so they utilize tech, like machine god tech faith. They take some of the most fervent of machine gods, like tech priests, and they have them go out to raise morale and assist, Skitarii troops and the like.
All right.
So
whatever.
yeah, they're either doubling down or I don't know.
Right. So if you have strong enough faith, you won't be as affected by the null
stilling.
Space.
Yeah,
okay.
pretty much. All
right. Well, hey, pray harder, fools.
Hey, yeah, pray harder.
Pray harder.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what they're getting at right now. But clearly they're going for something here.
I guess they need to have some way to operate with proficiency in this null space, so it's not just a one-sided bleh. I guess.
Because on one hand they need a MacGuffin or else it's just humanity just loses.
Yeah, because you go into the null space and then you just stop. And ships just fall out of the sky because, well, we stopped caring about anything ever. So I guess you need some way for one side to actually operate in this Pariah Nexus.
And on the other side of things, like when they do call for help in this area, like later on in the book, and by calling for help out of the Pariah Nexus, like I said earlier, nothing is ever absolute. It just makes it really hard. So they were able to get a signal out to like Guilliman, but it cost them like half of their astropaths, basically. It's
jeez.
It's all about just like, it's so damn difficult to do.
Yeah. I guess if you're stuck in there and you're like, well, the only way we can get a message out is by killing half of you astropaths, I guess it's kind of worth it, because otherwise you're all screwed. So
yeah. I don't know. It's a little weird. One could maybe argue that the Sisters of Battle, in their massive fervor, have such a strong faith that it can break past the Pariah Nexus and reach out into warp space, because it's never a permanent deal.
True. Yeah, I suppose. But then wouldn't that suggest that like chaos could exist there, because nothing's absolute. If you're a crazy enough chaos thing, you can find a little soft spot, and
it's a lot of stuff. We're obviously kind of spitballing here, but
yeah, once you start down that iceberg, like it's like, oh hey, don't worry, that's just the tip of the iceberg, and it's like, uh-oh, there's a lot more under the surface. So yeah.
Regardless, eventually, once Guilliman realizes what is happening in this space, he sends out Cawl to go, do Cawl stuff, and he brings
it's just calling. What? It is. He called him.
He did call. He called him on his cell phone.
Yeah.
He called Cawl and gave a call to go out to to go out to the space and do whatever he can do to deal with what's happening in the Pariah Nexus. And Cawl, in his intelligence, made it so that he decided, all right, blackstone is the null when charged a certain way, but blackstone can also be used in the opposite, in a sense.
I'm assuming if you positively charge it, it does the exact opposite and makes like a warp-rich area?
Exactly. It can be utilized in a polarity to enhance the warp in a way.
Ooh, not sure you want to do that. I don't think you want to do that.
Well, Cawl is maybe crazy, but he's not dumb.
Yeah.
And so he goes out and he's like, okay, you know what? Sure. I'm going to bring a large contingent of my fleet, and I'm going to have the acquisition of Blackstone as the most important thing out of all. is the most important. We need to go acquire as much blackstone as we can. And, at first, it's a little rough. At first, it's a little tough. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going with it all, and it takes a while. Mainly because a lot of the other rival tech priests are, they kind of got their own ideas.
Oh, so not everybody fully believes Call's ideas about the Blackstone? Is that what you're? They think it's something else.
So Admech hate Cawl.
Well, that's true because he goes against everything the Admech stand for, and he keeps inventing stuff. Yeah, that's true.
He's kind of got a bit of a bad rap,
a little bit, yeah.
But also, there's the idea that utilizing the Necrons' resources against them is no better than being alien scum.
Oh, that's true. They would think that, wouldn't they?
So utilizing their own powers against them is not something that people particularly love. And not just that, but to deal with such an insane level of, not to say power, but this space area against the Necrons, they decide to bring with them a couple artifacts, some Dark Age technology stuff.
Oh boy, Dark Age of technology stuff. All right.
Yeah, they were like, you know what? If we're going to be going out and doing all this, let's bring the big guns. Let's bring the things locked behind 9,000 vaults and keys.
Yeah, one step away from the stuff that's locked under the golden throne.
So they made their way out and about, and by going into this whole Pariah Nexus with this large fleet and working on gathering blackstone as much as they did, they encountered quite a few Necron resistance patches, obviously.
Naturally, yeah.
Because, there's a ton of Necrons there, and they're quite upset.
Yeah, and I imagine they wouldn't want you touching the blackstone for anything. So yeah, makes sense.
So a couple people, particularly an Inquisitor Kyria Draxus, Lord Inquisitor Kyria Draxus, actually. She actually has a model. She's like a bald-headed lady. She carries around like an Eldar gun. She's kind of neat.
Cool.
She has like a cool like wyvern, like dragon on her arm kind of thing. It's neat.
Ooh.
But she took her way out to study as much of the Necron stuff as she possibly could. And by doing so, she figured out a way to possibly destroy one of these Necron pylons.
Okay. I'm also assuming she's a bit of a radical.
She is considered a radical, yes.
Shocking development.
Now, this came after a large contingent of battles back and forth between the Admech and the Necrons. The Admech were, for a bit, doing okay, but then kind of getting trounced a bit because one, Pariah Nexus, 2, the Silent King's forces, and 3, a certain Sautek noble, who you will know as Imatek the Stormlord.
Ah, yes, the old Stormlord. Let's go.
Didn't much like what the king is up to.
Oh.
So he decided to say, screw you, and attack a lot of his forces.
Wow, really?
So it's an important thing to note between Imatek and Zarek. So Zarek just came back. He's got a huge army. He's the Silent King. Many people bow to him regardless.
Right.
Imatek thinks that the idea of returning to flesh and blood is stupid.
He's one of the people that's like, oh, look at how perfect we are. We're immortal. We want for nothing. We're perfect. We're perfect.
Exactly. Zarek wants to undo his sins. Zarek, guys, their names. Zarek wants to undo his sins. Imatek believes that right now where we're currently at is where we should always be.
Ah, okay. So he naturally doesn't want. He definitely doesn't want the Silent King to succeed in anything, and he probably doesn't like this Pariah Nexus at all.
No, because he doesn't mind necessarily the cost of the Pariah Nexus because it is destroying and killing humanity, which he's pretty stoked for, but it's not his point. And so for the most part, Imatek, because he might actually command like equivalent forces to the king because he's been awake for so much long. Well,
yeah.
So Zarek has been awake, but in the game for so much longer. He is leading in a sense a kind of sort of civil war against the Silent King. And so a lot of times the Admech are getting their asses kicked, and then all the Necrons just leave because they're like, oh god, Imatech is beating our ass elsewhere. And
Imatech's back. We're needed elsewhere.
Zarek is none too happy about this, by the way. He doesn't say much.
No kidding. You don't say he's not happy about the Civil War.
He doesn't say much because he's the Silent King, but he is it is said here that he has a menacing cold outrage against this.
Yeah, not happy.
No, not pleased at all.
No, not. Nope.
But after all this kind of occurs, Draxus eventually, Lord Inquisitor Draxus, finds a way to destroy one of the pylons. She finds a way to be able to actually take it out from within. Oh yeah, there's her model. It's pretty cool.
Oh wow, Draxus is badass.
Yeah, her it's like a shuriken cannon. I think she uses from the Eldar.
Dang, what's that on her shoulder? Is that a tear?
No, it's like a whelp, like a psychic whelp or something.
Okay, damn, that's cool.
It's
what
very
a badass. Jesus Christ.
So, with all of this stuff happening, eventually the humans do find a way to lead a force directly on the currently embittered Necrons that are indisposed with problems caused by Imatech.
Okay.
Land on the pylon, enter it, and blow it up from within, and topple the whole pylon.
Okay. And then suddenly the Pariah Nexus gets smaller, and
a bit of a hole reopens up in the warp. Morale increases, things get better. All that.
Start sending out messages about what's going on in here, and hey guys, we're okay, we did it. It's the Blackstone. Get us out of here.
So this this is the turning part of our story. Because the Silent King was fucking furious at this.
Oh, I bet. He must have been absolutely outraged that they destroyed one of the Blackstone pylons.
But like it's hard for me to like I gotta truly express to the extent of how mad he was. There's
talking.
There's a great story here of a Necron overlord who is walking underwater with his Lichguard flank.
Yeah.
And currently a bunch of doom sights and other like craft are flying around firing at the humans on this base. And he's really pissed off because he has to take to going underwater in order to get out of the range of the artillery guns and the like. And a lot of his warriors are old and decrepit, so they're going really slow, walking and trudging in this muddy underwater thing. But particularly, the Overlord is fighting the humans with tact.
Okay, with tact, sure.
So Necrons have a very strict code of conduct. Okay, Shai, that's a fucking hilarious meme. For a couple reasons. We'll get to that in a moment. So Necrons are all about not the chivalric code, that's knights. But they're very much a like the triarchal code, the code of conduct with battle. You don't insult your, and it's like Revolutionary War shit where because all the Necrons walk in lockstep. And then they're like, legions and flanks and stuff. And, to not fight like that is not Necron of you.
Yeah, sure.
So despite the fact that this is a war against inferior beings, you still treat the inferior beings with a certain level of,
respect.
Sure. Yeah. Now, at the time, this Overlord is a little pissed off he has to do that, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's how you operate.
That's how you operate. And for the most part, at this point, the thing that bugs him the most is that behind him, there's a Plasmancer, which is one of the various cryptechs. who is very what's the word? He's staring at the back of his head all the time because this Plasmancer's got all of the dastardly stuff.
Okay.
The not kind, not respectful weaponry.
Ah, all right. What kind of weaponry is respectful, by the way?
Well, respectful weaponry is the ranks and ranks of Necron warriors walking up and firing and walking up and firing, and then the noble Lich Guards surrounding, for honorable dual combat against an enemy captain.
Okay, and this Plasmancer is just not. He's being a disrespectful whelp or something. Like what?
The Plasmancer is. Like, the Overlord is a lot more of a, guys, we gotta do honorable, respectful combat, where a Plasmancer is like, let's just, like, poison their water supply, burn their crops, and deliver a plague upon their houses. Okay,
gotcha. The Plasmancer just wants to get it done by any means necessary.
They are science bordering on magic, is what the Necron Plasmancers and stuff do, and they're all about death.
Okay.
So, destroying this pylon had the Silent King send out the call that the humans have chosen dishonorable combat. They have destroyed one of these sacred pylons, and they have decided to move this combat to the point where they no longer deserve respect.
Ooh.
You may now do whatever you want.
Oh boy, so the Plasmancer's just licking its lip. Well, it's not licking its lips because it doesn't. I have lips and I need to lick. I have no lips and I need to lick. But yeah, so they're just like, oh yeah, limiters are off. I can do whatever I want. Oh hell yeah, brother.
Basically, the Plasmancer heard this and his eyes flared wide. He was like, oh yeah,
hell yeah, brother.
So this began a doomsday weapon arms race between the two factions.
I don't suppose you don't really want to have a doomsday off with the Necrons, do you? I don't think that's
in Cawl and his buddy's wisdom, they decided.
That's true. Call's there, so Cawl probably does have a wide array of doomsday machines to. Okay. I forgot about Call's interests.
Well, yeah, he decided to bring a lot of old school STC level,
the Dark Age of technology stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
So, when the Necrons, took a Catan shard and spread its influence into thousands of canoptic flying creatures that flowed like a ghostly, shadowy cape through the night and turned all of the Admech forces on each other to kill each other, Cawl then responded with firing the tiny little black box at the Necron fleet, which slowly expanded into a black nothingness hole so large that it consumed half the planet.
Whoa!
And then just removed it from existence.
Whoa! He just dotted half the planet?
So, like, I hate that I have to make a JoJo reference here. Like, I'm genuinely furious about this right now.
Then don't.
Okay. Oh, wait, you didn't see part 4.
Yeah, I didn't. I haven't seen past Diamond is Unbreakable. I never finished Diamond is Unbreakable.
Okay, well, part 3 sucks ass, so it's okay.
Oh, it sure does. That's why I didn't. That's why I stopped JoJo.
Okay, so there's a guy with a power in the 4th part that has something similar to this, but like, imagine you're on Photoshop and you have an eraser an eraser circle.
Yeah, and he used a big version of that on half the planet.
Well, and you just like slowly keep increasing the eraser circle size larger and larger and larger.
Yeah.
Until it was a giant block of like black orb that just deleted from existence half the Necron fleet and accidentally half the planet because
accidentally half the planet.
Because the Admech don't know what they're doing because these are Dark Age of technology weapons.
Yep. Oh man, that's a crazy weapon though.
Well,
that is an insane weapon.
In response to this, the Necrons grabbed a dwarf star and just like threw it at them.
What? They just yeeted a star at them?
They had like a tesseract, like labyrinth, like a Trazen box, and they just like threw it at them, and it just turned into a dying star, and then it just like destroyed half their fleet. And I'm like, okay, sure.
So Cawl dots half a planet and their forces, and they respond by just lassoing a dying star and just chucking it at them, and just boom.
They fire.
That's crazy.
Like, they fire. Then the Admech came in and was like, hey, you want to, by the way, here, we're going to fire this gravity well. And then it's just like this giant lightning well grabbed a bunch of Necron ships and just crushed them into like atoms.
Okay.
And this just happened back and forth ad nauseum. Like, it was just, your Doomsday weapon will counter my Doomsday weapon with my Doomsday weapon.
Literally a Doomsday off.
It's insane.
Wow.
Also, Shy, the Catan bit in the notes you mentioned, is that the bit about her, or is that something else?
Yeah, Shy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You want to read this? This one was funny.
Draxus and her forces were confronted by a contingent of Necrons led by Xeras. A brief skirmish within a tomb ensued, which ended when Draxus used her power fist to smash a Catan shard and release it. Ooh. The shard teleported the Imperial forces back to their fleet and began a rampage against the Necrons. Ooh, okay. So Draxus just punched a Catan shard and released it?
Yeah, she let a Catan shard
She
be
just
released.
let out a Catan because she punched it?
Well, no, she broke the Pokeball.
Right.
And then the Catan shard's like, thanks, bro. And then just started murdering the Necrons.
I'm sure as soon as that thing got it, it was like, oh, it's Necron killing time.
So it's just this never, it's hilarious what they write in here, because Call's Doomsday weapons against the Silent King's Doomsday weapons, because obviously the Necrons didn't quite expect the humans to have weapons like this.
Yeah, they weren't accounting for Cawl.
But honestly, the tech priests, so excited to use their unfathomably frightening stuff, kind of killed themselves as much as they killed the Necrons.
That's fair, because they probably would be really. It's like, oh boy, we finally get to use this thing. I thought I'd never get to use the Doomsday weapon, and yeah.
Oh
they
god,
did
we took
a little overzealous, and yeah,
turned the planet into like the Apple logo with a giant bite out of it.
And, oh damn, some of our forces were on that.
This actually was particularly rough for the Silent King 2, because the use of the super high-level cryptex known as the Technomandrites, utilizing their high-level stuff, made the other nobles kind of pissed. Because they're like, that's not cool. That's not what we do. Like, fake king.
Oh, yeah, that would be a problem for him.
Yeah, it's not it is not something that a true noble of the Necron lineage would do.
Oh, so his status was kind of lowering because he was stooping to Call's level.
Exactly. He was not even stooping to Call's level, but just in a sense, like, this goes against our code. Right.
Okay.
Which in doing so brought more people to Imhotep's side.
Yeah. So I imagine Imhotep would get a lot of Necron supporters.
So at the moment, it started off with the Pariah Nexus being a bit of a really bad zone. And then Imhotep, despite age sickness, what is the number one thing that's stopping the Necrons from killing everybody?
The numbers?
No, political infighting.
Oh, well, yeah, political infighting. I thought it was because a lot of them hadn't woke up, and,
It is also that, but
yeah,
the Necrons
political
like to fight each other all the time.
Yeah.
There's a little excerpt about Trazen, who apparently during this whole shtick, during all these things going on and all the happenings, used the Necron Civil War as a way to raid multiple tomb ships.
He would. That's on par for Trazen, sure.
And Orkin was there as well. Orkin was out there because his divinity of the future was getting off. It wasn't working as well as it should be.
Oh, okay.
So he was out trying to figure out what the hell's going on. What like there's some zone of space or something going on that's ruining his seeing the future.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to figure out why or what or anything that's currently happening.
Okay. So all the cool Necrons are here.
They're all here, basically.
Yeah.
But Orkin finds out what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And after this giant space rift has arrived and like opened up and the warp has arrived, you notice a Orkin realizes that this area is where all of his problems are occurring. And what's even more scary for him is that he is, quote, powerless to stop it. It's not about an issue with his divinity. It's about the fact that there's nothing he can do because this area has been preordained by the cogs of the universe for like a long time.
Ooh, okay. So there's no change in what's about to happen here. This is set in stone. No chicanery is going to be able to warp or twist this.
Who in the world of 40K would be the most stoked having two massive factions using the most dastardly Doomsday weapons against each other?
Well, that sounds like something Chaos would be a big fan of.
Who specifically?
Probably. That sounds like a Khorne thing. Sounds like Khorne would be happy by a giant war where people are just blipping each other out of existence, mass killing. That sounds like a Khorne thing.
Oh, think about it. Untethered scientific prowess of gigantic Doomsday weapons. Madmen inventing the most destructive things known to man. Who does that feed?
Tzeentch?
Oh,
you change?
Think smaller.
How about you just tell me?
Versace, baby!
Oh,
Mr. Versace himself.
I wasn't even thinking of him as a chaos god.
So what happens now with this all happening? Guess what? A rent in reality opens, and the gigantic reanimated version of Caliban, Wormwood, arrives into real space because Mr. Versace himself is like, I gotta get a load of this. Oh yeah, I had a buddy called him Versace, and I can't not call him Versace now.
Oh, good old Versace, yeah. I have a Versace cologne.
Oh, I do too. Is it the red one?
No, it's the green one. It's Eros.
Oh, okay.
It's a different one. I forget what, but yeah.
The square one.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. That's good. It's like, Bricky, call him Vashtorr once. People who listening can understand what's going on. It's Vashtorr.
It's Vashtorr. Well, you've probably, that's true. I guess if you're listening on a podcast service where you don't see the video, Shai probably put up a picture of Vashtorr, but that doesn't help if you're, listening on Spotify or something.
Mr. Vashtorr. Yeah, I mean, when two factions, though I guess the Necrons being soulless, I don't know how much it would actually feed him, but utilizing madman technology, massive levels of destructive Doomsday devices. This feeds the boy. This puts the dog in him.
That puts that. He got that dog in him.
He got that dog in him.
He got that dog in him.
And
I don't know. I wasn't thinking of Vashtorr as a chaos god yet. I knew he wanted to become a chaos god, but I didn't think he had actually,
Well, technically not, but it's more just the concept. It does feed him,
Yeah, okay.
So Vashtorr arrives, and with Wormwood, his gigantic planet. And there's actually a really great section where he kind of floats his planet really close to another planet of Imperial defenders, and the gravitational pull and chaos stuff just yanks them all from the surface and yanks their mountains out of the dirt and pulls them towards him.
Just
an apocalyptic gravity well. It's really cool image.
Damn.
People are just like flung from the planet all across space.
That sucks for them. That sucks. That's awful.
It is super awful, but like
mountain just getting ripped out from the ground. Holy.
And then of course they get chucked directly into Wormwood, the demon engine planet.
Oh boy, if you survived, you'll wish you hadn't.
Yeah, kinda. Little awful situation there.
That's Unicron, is the planet-eating dude in Transformers. This is Unicron.
Yeah, but he doesn't eat it. He's just yanking gravity.
He's eating. Yeah,
it's just planet next to planet gravity.
Well, there's a part in the Transformers movie where he like his mouth is like this big gaping maw, and it kind of sucks everyone literally off the planet and into his mouth.
So, Vashtorr clearly is very excited by this. He in a funny sense, he kind of just arrives and he's like, "Bro, I gotta see this.
Yeah, I need front row seats for this thing because this is wild." Even Chaos is like, "Bruh, this is dope."
Which is why Orkin had a hard time figuring out the divinity, because Vashtorr, in a sense, had already planned his. Because Vashtorr is weird. Like, Tzeentch has an all is planned he thing.
Yeah.
But Vashtorr has an all as planned as well. But his plan is more like, I've specifically set the cogs in motion years ago to arrive at this precise moment.
Oh. Damn.
It's not like, ooh, the change, the difference. Like, no. My train has arrived at this stop exactly when I put my foot down.
Damn. Vashtorr kind of badass.
He's a baller. There's a really dope thing where he's on this gigantic tower, a spiral stairway tower full of cogs, some the size of 50 feet, some smaller than like a grain of rice. And he just like moves his hammer and it twists the entire tower around so he can look in different directions.
Ooh.
It's kind of baller.
That's dope. Let's go.
But
yeah.
He says, quote, "Alas that your erasure must I engineer here in this place, for you are now but grit in the flywheels to be whisked away. Machines have you made for such purpose as I cannot condone. And yet uses I shall find for your nodal matrix, little king. Lengths yet are there to which you have not been driven. Mayhap I shall wield the goad."
Damn! Imagine
because
calling
he talks
the
like a
silent
weirdo.
king, little king. Imagine,
little king.
Imagine being on such a pedestal that you look at the silent king. Oh, little king, like he's some child, like he's just some petulant child. It's like, that's the silent fucking king.
So it would appear that after getting his webway device to move his giant demon engine planet around the stars, he has arrived here to an area that will feed him heavily.
Yeah.
And also, he apparently has a use for his nodal matrix from the Silent King, as he says.
Okay. All right.
And that's where the book ends.
Okay. So this takes place before, or no, this takes place after. When was the last time we saw Vashtorr? At the end of the
Arcs of Omen.
Arcs of Omen. He's got the key, but we don't know what for.
Yeah, he has the key, but he's trying to find the lock.
Okay, gotcha. And this is after that.
Yes. Yes. So this is his. This is his most recent thing that's happened. Is him arriving back into real space.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I got the timeline right. Okay, cool.
So we don't know what he's.
What a
out
way
here
to show
looking.
up,
right, dude? He's just like,
sheesh.
Man, I gotta check this. Look at this fun stuff. I'm here. I'm ready.
I gotta get front row seats to this Doomsday off. Like, jeez. And those are crazy weapons that they're using. God damn. I mean, 40K's got some wild stuff, but like, this is just damn.
It's doubly funny too, because Gilliman is now entering the sector. He's making a personal trip with his fleet to assist.
He should love what he finds. I'm sure he's such a big fan of Cawl.
He's gonna. What's the meme of the guy who he walks in the room with the pizza and it's like everything's on fire?
Oh yeah. That's totally gonna be Guilliman. Yep.
Oh Guilliman.
Oh,
Shy makes a funny point. It's just a gigantic nerd fight. It's Cawl, the Silent King, Imhotep, and Vashtorr all just. Well, Vashtorr just arrived, but
yeah.
All just kind of beating on each other.
Yeah. Shy said it's like a slap fight, and it's like, I don't know if intergalactic doomsday weaponry usage constitutes as a nerd slap fight. I don't know. I think it's a little more extreme than that. Right?
Shy, did you just make that?
Wow.
That was so fast.
Well, I mean, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, it is. I'm very excited. I am our biggest Vashtorr simp. I love her.
No,
I love Mr. Versace.
Not you.
Well, see, now I don't know who. I know who I'm cheering for. It's not Cawl.
Oh, shocking.
But like, there's so many characters that I like here. I like Imhotep. I like Zarek a lot. I like Vashtorr a lot. Like, who am I supposed to root for?
You're rooting for Vashtorr to just obliterate everything or suck everything up into, machine tendrils and drain them dry. You're rooting for Vashtorr. Don't play that game.
Shy says, is he still shit on the tabletop? Yes.
But we're not on the tabletop right now.
He's so bad. So bad.
But dope mini.
One of the best Chaos minis out there.
Dope mini. So cool. Cool.
Absolutely incredible. He's so bad. He's so bad. He could probably go down like 40 points and he would still be bad. Oh my God.
Wow. Ooh, fuck.
It's genuinely shocking.
They're just waiting to buff him. They're waiting for the big moment to buff him. When he finds what that key is for, they're gonna just shoot him to the moon.
So in the Blood Angels, there's a character named Captain Tycho. I don't know much about him. But there's also another character you can run called Tycho the Lost. And apparently it's Captain Tycho is the pre-Blood Rage version or Black Rage version of Tycho the Lost.
Okay.
So like you can run like the normal and then the Blood or the Black Rage version of him, the Death Company version of him. But I got my Vashtorr mini, but where's my Vashtorr the Ascended mini?
Yeah, exactly. What we need. That's what when he finds that keyhole,
When he finds the hole.
When he finds the hole, that's the goal.
Every hole's a goal.
And he's going to ascend once he,
Yeah.
He did it all for the Nookie.
Wow, I hate you so much. I'm ending the episode for that alone. You, sir.
What?
You smell terrible.
So you can take that cookie and stick it up your